Dallas?
Yes.
Oh, I love that tape. I love it.
Wow,
look at that.
Catch.
All right, more from this one. Kyle Rudolph pulling in the nice one-handed touchdown grab.
Look, I mean, that is soft hands for a big man. I think that's
Soft
six
gloves.
straight games.
Soft gloves. We talked about him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Remember?
6 straight games with a touchdown catch, if I'm not mistaken, for Kyle
He's
Rudolph.
a beast. I love his game. But definitely the gloves are helping here. But I'm no hater.
All right, let's go a little basketball here. Hornets and Suns. Kelly Oubre Jr. with the dunk all over Miles Bridges.
Ooh.
Yeah, why could Washington use him? Just trade him for a few weeks of Trevor Ariza. Now you got a young player. Right out of it. I watched this kid play in high school. He played against my son in high school down in Texas. He was a star then, at a rough start of his NBA career, finding his way in Phoenix. Go get it.
This doesn't look like a soft player to me.
Forgetful night for the Knicks last night, taking on the Bucks. Giannis bullying Julius Randle before finishing.
A big man. 6'8", 240. You ain't big enough, little fella. Eat that.
And the Greek is bigger.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we got to, at some point when we talk Giannis, we got to put his numbers this year compared to pick your favorite Shaquille O'Neal season.
Really?
Beating him in points and rebounds.
Really?
Yeah.
College hoops, Stephen F. Austin's Roti Ware getting the steal and the big dunk over the defender.
Oh.
Big.
Oh, poor kid.
No,
poor
not
kid.
poor kid. That's what you get for trying to take one of these weak sauce charges.
Hey, listen.
Contest or get out the way, or that's going to happen to you.
Fundamentals in basketball. That's how you win against talented teams. You got to be fundamentally
Is
sound.
what, taking dangerous charges?
Yes.
Give me a break.
Oh, poor kid.
Stephen F. Austin,
That's the coach's fault. This
for
is the
putting him on
coach's
court.
Yeah, come
for
on,
recruiting
man.
a kid that'll take that charge. Agreed.
Let's talk some Dallas Cowboys now. Hard to describe the year they've been having. Inconsistent, underachieving, over and then underwhelming at times. Okay, maybe it's not that hard to describe the Dallas Cowboys. Looking to bounce back after last Thursday's terrible loss. Facing the Bears this Thursday night, Ezekiel Elliott has heard all the criticism. Here he is at practice on Sunday.
We're just angry that we're not where we expect ourselves to be, and just angry that things haven't been going the way that we want them to go. So, I mean, we just got to channel that the right way, come in like we did today, go to work, and just, trust the process and go out there and play better football.
All this does being in this position is add the doubters, and that should allow the chip on the shoulder to grow. Get the people off the bandwagon and just know it's about us, the people in this locker room that have to go out there and execute, and it just allows this locker room to get tighter.
I feel like that hat's too big for him, but that's neither here nor there. Nick, is there any way? Anyway, the Cowboys, you think, can turn things around and actually make a deep playoff run here?
Absolutely not. And I want to talk about what Dak said in just a moment. But to answer your question directly, no. The only reason the Cowboys and playoffs are in the same sentence is because of the 8 divisions in the league. They're in the weakest one. If they were in how many wins does it take to lead any other division? 10, 10, 8, 8, 10, 10, 9, and then 6.
Wow.
One of these things is not like the other, and it's the NFC East this year, where you have a Giants team that is right now in the pole position for the #2 pick of the draft, a Washington team that's been bad aside from the one RG3 year since, I don't know, the Clinton administration, and you've got the Eagles, who might be the most disappointing team in the entire league. So Dallas at 6-6 is leading it. But you cannot be this mediocre, which is the worst thing to be in sports, and it's exactly what the Cowboys are. Mediocre through 12 weeks, Brandon.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden expect to be able to beat. So you go on a deep playoff run. What does that mean? Win 2 playoff games, get to a conference championship game, something they haven't done in a quarter century. So that means you win a home playoff game against an 11 or 12 win Seattle or San Francisco team, because that's who you'd be playing. And then you go on the road to a 12 or 13 win New Orleans or Green Bay team and win that game. No, to me, they have no chance of that. I know everyone says you make the tournament, you got a shot. Not these Dallas Cowboys, not this year.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't even trust them to make the playoffs. The Philadelphia Eagles gave them an opportunity this week just to still be in it when they went down to Miami and got beat, right? I trust the Philadelphia Eagles to turn this around more than I trust the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
I'm over them.
over the Cowboys?
I'm over them. I mean, I don't understand why we're still talking about them. Like, every week we're talking about it. You turn on any show on TV and they're talking about the Cowboys.
Because there's so much potential on that team. There's so much talent on that team.
No, they're not. Talent only takes you so far. They're not a smart team. They're not a smart team. You go back to the Patriots game. You had an opportunity. What did Jerry Jones say? This is a measuring stick for us, right? Let's see who we really are. They showed us in that game who they really are. One, they weren't emotional enough to take that game. They didn't show the passion. And then they weren't smart. They lost in the kicking game. A pooch kick, right? A punt block. Situational football, not making the right decisions from the coach's standpoint and the player's standpoint. It's not just on one person. It's the whole team. It's the whole organization, except Jerry Jones. I've been saying this all year. This is the one year where Jerry Jones, maybe the last 2 years, Jerry Jones has actually done a phenomenal job.
Yep.
He's given everyone in that organization everything they needed to win a championship. There's no excuse. But when you look at the game and you get down to the details, you can see when it comes down to situational football, hitting yards in a kicking game, they're just not getting it done.
Well, your point about Jerry and his son Steven, who I think has a bigger hand in the draft, they have selected over the last really decade. Their last bad first-round pick was Mo Claiborne years and years ago.
Who was that?
You're right. They traded all the way up, if I remember correctly, to 6 to get the corner out of LSU. Just didn't hit. Since then, it's all pro player after Pro Bowl player after league-leading rusher after inside linebacker to replace Sean Lee. They have done great drafting. Jerry has paid all these guys to keep them. Now they might pay the price for that later, but the Joneses have done a good job. It's everyone else that hasn't held up their end of the bargain, and one could say Dak this year, prior to the last couple weeks, has held up his end. He's played really well. But I did not like that comment from Dak Prescott. I know, Jenna, you got a little tired of Richard Sherman saying, everyone's doubting us, all the haters. If you're winning and you want to have the no one believes in us mentality, I actually get it. You're looking, you're searching for motivation. You want to believe the world's against you, fine. People aren't doubters when you're 6-6 and wildly underachieving. They're truth tellers. People aren't, people say, oh, everyone's jumping off the bandwagon. It's not that people are jumping off the bandwagon. It's that the bandwagon hit a tree and tipped over and people fell out. And so, like, Dak acting as if, the people are doubting us because no, people are looking at you, and through 12 weeks, 3/4 of the season, there are 15 teams in the league better than you. It is a 32-team league. That ain't great. And so I don't think you get to play the card of the chip on our shoulder. The chip on your shoulder should be from your own play. From the fact that you have had 5 opportunities to beat winning teams this year, and you are 0 for 5 with those 5 chances.
Ezekiel Elliott went on to say, all of our problems can be summed up in just one thing that we're not doing right. We're not playing football well. Other than how was the play, Ms. Lincoln? But is that on coaching? Because you mentioned a couple different things. When you have that much talent, when you only got 6 wins, is that on coaching?
Yeah, it seems like the culture's off somewhere in that locker room, somewhere in that team meeting. Something's off there because the mentality is wrong. To your point, when you listen to these guys speak, they're telling us a lot, right? Dak says, I have a chip on my shoulder. Zeke says, trust the process. Trust the process. We have 4 games left. What are you talking about? Trust the process. And I think that there's confusion there, and they may be off a little bit because they're leading this weak division. Right? At the end of the day, they know that they still control their own destiny. But when you get into the playoffs, you're playing against these big boys. You're playing against teams that can get it done in situational football, who makes informed decisions, the right decisions. You have no chance. You have no chance, and they've shown this the last couple weeks playing against some decent teams.
Well, listen, the smartest thing the NFL ever did was expand from 6 divisions to 8, make it 4 teams per division, because we are in December. And 22 of the 32 cities involved, or teams, fan bases, feel like we're still in it. Like, because you only have to be the best of 4 and because of the wild card. So I like that from a competitive balance standpoint, from keeping fans engaged all season long, as opposed to, for example, Major League Baseball up until recently when they expanded the wild card, you had half the league at the All-Star break like, we are done for the year.
Right.
But it also can be misleading because it can make you feel like if we win our division, we by default had a successful season. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
All division titles are not created equal, and all divisions are not created equal. And when you are a team with the level of talent of the Cowboys, who you know for the next, if you look at the next 4 years looking forward, they won't have a more talented roster at any point over the next 4 seasons than this year.
Yeah.
Because the moment you pay Dak, whether it's via franchise tag or long-term contract, you are paring guys away. And so this, it's not that their window closes, but the window gets narrower after this season. And if you can't get it done